Hi there, I'm Mr. Limis. Welcome back for a review of Unit 10, which is about the Gilded Age again, like our last unit, but this time we're talking about immigration, urbanization, and reform. And I'm here with one of my students. I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Leilani. I'm I'm a Canadian, and I'll be the translator for you guys today.
Okay, introduce yourself.
Nagde rinche the Nibar or Evatite Leilani. Muckrakers na Chuukese na ibo also try na LCKV. Yeah. Yeah.
So first, let's talk about the time in history we're talking about. So this is the same as the time we talked about the last time. We're talking about the end of the 1800s and the very beginning of the 1900s. It's a long time in history, but everything, all these big changes we're talking about happened kind of in that time in history.
When we see foster after American past, it start another 18th century, like back. Wait, can you explain it again? Sorry.
It's like a long time in history, but it's generally at the end of the 1800s into the beginning of the 1900s.
Oh, the essence of fossil card made on the number 18 to 19 mostly. Got that?
Okay, so our first topic is a group we call the new immigrants. So at this time in history, there were a lot of people coming to the United States. And they're different from the people who came before. So historians, when we study them, we call them the new immigrants. And a couple ways that they were new. First, they came from a different place. So they came from Southern Europe and Eastern Europe, which was different from the people who had come before. So they looked different, and they spoke different languages, they had different religions, because they had come from a different place. Also, a lot of them came with less money, and they didn't have very many skills, like they didn't know how to do stuff.
Kan arabas fito North American we egis resikor North Mori the ifre fito revito ike per start arkan usuna pusin ar church and are many arkan asawara pusin ar court ila betra watan abata fito ike Arre fito Israeli or North Mori Navi era pares one or myth we got none.
Okay. So a little bit more about the new immigrants. When we talk about people coming to America, we can think about they're getting pushed out of their country and they're getting pulled to a new country. So historians call this push factor and pull factor. So for the new immigrants, the push factors were famine, where there wasn't enough food, poverty, not enough money, or in some cases religious persecution, where they were being attacked because of their religion. And then why they chose America, because there was a chance to start over, something like a new start. There were jobs in America. Sometimes they could get land. And in America, there's religious freedom. You can have whatever religion you want in the United States.
Iga ke sisiri po iga ke fitore America mikini tori pusin asamoru many get quote ke bachara asamoru pumisok ka seri ajka chuk ko aska family ka po fosu jika asamoru ebachak quote ne iga ke victory ke asamoru Trump quote is about the Philippines where is a core strict what aka rules not America. United States fossil where Ekaravas feito America kicked out sooner retoseri pusineria. You get not example you get not Germany or Germany Australia view our war where affecto ike how push start the our family push start the metro sooner met atka family ka perfecto then. That's a long explanation.
That's okay. But actually, let's go back one. The picture that shows here, a lot of times when we think about this time in history, we imagine the Statue of Liberty. It was kind of new at that time in history, but also so many people arrived by boat that they went past it. And so now when we imagine the Statue of Liberty, we often think about like immigrants and like what they hope for the future, like their new life in America. It's a kind of a symbol of these people.
Mete sensiera que pira mi watte faith in America rakuri Statue of Liberty ira ita era faith in faith arabas rak passiri ara clara faith in rak think but ira assassinan at sabi sini free ira assassinan mesi arabas fitomer America ira tapin ira vet efforts.
Okay, so many people are coming to the United States, and there's factories, like we studied factories last time. So you have cities growing. So the term for growing cities is urbanization. Because cities are getting bigger, there's a lot of problems. But then also at this time, they invent solutions or the fixes to those problems. So there's a lot of samples up here, so you can explain some of it. There's not clean water, so they do sewer systems. There's too much crime, so they create a police department. There's no way to get around, so they make subways or the trolleys, like the trolley in the picture. Like there's not enough space for the people, so they build the skyscrapers. They need to be able to talk to each other, so they invent the telephone. It's dark at night, so they get electric lights. There's nothing to do, so they have like the vaudeville shows or baseball. They're afraid there's too many buildings around, so they build parks. So for every problem at this time in the cities, they come up with some solution.
Era not a time meteorferi but jika biarkan met mingai raka pusimeta akar sunne pusimeta mete po software problem kat juk mikal or toma kar mi kat or toma cabbage kan no feather no kar road and stuff so meteorferi re pusimira kar tunnels are kar mer kan mira ka cabbage mios nekiar police por ka protective karavas mi paro mira aba tomog ha mira tomog like phone ira mira ta karapat tarakku mior wakate buildings are wakate kapari pabina thank you por baktiane pun ira bet examples are ira bet using the examples for pueblo rovira met America postal earth city cost neri New York soccer city nekiachana tu ir mi what the city at then sorry
Good?
yeah
Okay, so at this time in history, there's a group of writers called the Muckrakers. And they become famous because they go looking for like the worst problems. And then they write about them. So it's not just that they want to make people look bad. The reason why we kind of like the Muckrakers is because they would expose a problem. They would show everyone through their writing like, hey, there's this big problem. But then because everyone got upset about it, then the people in government had to make laws to fix those problems. So in the homework, there's a lot of examples, but two good ones. Upton Sinclair wrote a book called The Jungle, which was about meatpacking, like in the picture. And people learned how like it was dirty and there were rats in the food. And so then we made a law, like the Food and Drug Act, so now we have clean food. And another good example is Ida Tarbell wrote about Rockefeller. Everyone found out like the bad things he had done, so now we make laws so you can't have a monopoly, you can't do those bad things. So the Muckrakers are kind of good people in history, because although they wrote about bad stuff, then we found out about it so we could fix it.
Yes. Biar kah rawasakan fossil met mingar North America. Biar ir ka pusin negeri met mingasun example the jungle era ever book fossil arraga mira bogo na car factories mi wasin na factory but fita mi ka to tomak nakis ka mero na ka mid raira mira haya ini arabas bogo ne arabas ka mogo era mi to se siri bo mior nakis na mira mi ko Mika arwas rasiri pukra raira so kren cara buat mira te po wesura krabe pemingai mo pan mi yor fat book e fasiro mai mi was to tomong no mori the main mi kisngai pue ekacak ai seri arabas nur mori nesang nir mori usune ke ni mi ti pacen ne mi kisngal ana pue kan ai seri arabas mori ajak nir kukur mori we arabas restoweri kaba metro wasar po mo are kaba mo ara pisek restoweri po mi sort nur mori era betara mo ka first ngeni. Yeah.
Okay, so again with the writers, because this is a time before radio, TV, internet, so people read a lot just for to find out what's going on, but also for fun. So the newspapers were trying to get more people to buy their newspaper. They're competing with each other. And the two famous people are a guy named Hertz and Pulitzer, who ran these newspapers in New York City. And because they're trying to get people to buy their newspapers, they kind of invent this new style called the yellow press, where, and this is an example of it, they make everything seem like super exciting. Like the more amazing or interesting something is, the more likely people are to buy it. So like this one about a lady who jumps off the bridge, they make it like really big, and they use like the most descriptive words that they can, kind of. But it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. It's good in that it sells newspapers, but it's bad because then it gets people like overly excited about stuff, maybe. Like it makes drama. That's the best description of it.
Oh, okay. Men det fascinerar på när det time era mera in the past. Mereka arabas ramaki sunar arka story ramaki raira kan ini arabas other kan ini podcast arabas lagi ra. Ika arabas haka fiti haka word. Iyo kore pata kali ida pon mir ya apa hari po. Example so apa hari era po eu favorite charity serie was mi wakate neri lagi misi arabas kan fiti haka kisbol haka kis or sari po mir sunne action ada mir metro force ngiri haka mir metro force ngiri tira ngiri sabar mira ngiri haka mo yang par ya tapi sunne eka sorry sunne ka harus ka force ngal ngiri ka force ngal red cross arabas ka irakan mira bo epokar atakirikir sunne ka urumote na miekis ngal po na ka harus ra ay mir no mori ra ngini mori por epokar force ngal ngiri cross no mi borakis ngal por ka force ngal ina bete force miekis usah po usah ra ka mingai ay force yeah.
Okay, so there's a group of people at this time called the progressives, and they weren't willing to just accept everything the way that it was. They wanted to fix things and make the life around them better. A lot of the progressives were women who lived in these cities, who had some time because it wasn't okay for them to go have a job, but they wanted to do something useful. So they went out to try to solve these problems. And they did a lot of things. So they tried to end child labor. So like this girl who has to work at the factory, they wanted to make it against the law. They wanted to fix schools and make schools better, like so the kids could go to school also. They wanted to make it safer at workplaces. So we talked about the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire, where they found out like people had been locked in, so they died in the fire. So they wanted to make places where you work safer. They wanted to fix problems in government, to make government like work better for us, and so that when you voted, it was the winner you wanted. They created an income tax, and they started to care about the environment. They're the first people to think about saving the earth, kind of.
Murakara arabas wacet change retos nikang ngai ra bila bete poet itarkan arabas progressive irre pusimiyata what law pues rasa negative saving terpuagang pues mio tomak saving terkan mero arga agang nakar neria Migo tamang kukut nengi beatan meron factories were migan patte kan metsa kat cari gua ranira mingar maset nga ba mete fossil era po mior evot nidi arang mior like kukut nengi tori rawatte mikan agan na nerien Rubikan agang kiran we ikan sekarang agang eka mayar puga karasa kan nakera po resap soya di betat ne minga arna rira po aro rekan nona ium orefat fire we rai ramera kan ningi narium ekas ningi cagu jump renar window rai ramera aro cagiti You're just singing a cafe if you're talking, you said scary. Yeah. Met wat furry about net taxes. Taxes check you get cover or tukar people you got at the more one. Mingara nice sorry. So sorry. It have a pushing me at it no Meisje ka arwas kan no progressive kan metara ben medicine fefin. Maybe rebusi mirata karabe rebusi mirata arna tax child labor era child labor what law city city sabagang mi started education at schools ira metre started yeah so
Okay, so there's kind of a special group of the progressives that we call the social gospel movement, and these were progressive people who wanted to fix things because they felt like it was a way to practice their religion. Like they thought, what would Jesus do? And Jesus would help people, so then they thought I should do that too. So they did a couple things. They made things called settlement houses where those new immigrants could go to like learn English or to stay, for their kids to stay when the parents were at work. And we have one in Hawaii. The Palama settlement is an example of a settlement house from this time. But also they did things like the YMCA, the YWCA. It stands for Young Men's Christian Organization. That was started by Christian people to give kids a place to go in the cities. And then the last one, the Salvation Army, who like helps out the poor, comes from this time in history. They're all groups that were started by these religious progressives.
Hevet sense fossil era po Miurka faith mo where we also believe not God will have po ye met cosa baka feri ka her ki chara was ye met baka feri ka bi baral ka bi nam fetch ra pusil miata kar im for example like Palama settlement is help direkan arwas ka esoriwa iga ke pitor American esoriwom kito nam na karium ira betreliata bekar arwas he was said please figure out what he said grave metaphor was said eu taraga start direkar im akan meta tomong na America we idar ka arwas ka Salvation Army yare YMCA or YWCA ikay ka arwas yeah I mean yeah.
Do you think people still do this now? Like they're like inspired by religion to go out and do good? Kind of the same way. Okay, last one. The last thing that is a big change, kind of connects to the progressive, is about women's rights. So the big success for women is that they passed the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote. And that happens in 1920. Sadly, 19th Amendment in 1920, it's almost easy to remember. 19th Amendment in 1920 gives women the right to vote. There are some other things women wanted at that time, but they didn't get. They're going to have to wait more time in history. So they were talking about birth control. There was a woman who said a woman can't be free until she can decide if she wants children. But that was something she didn't get, that women couldn't get at that time. The right to go to work was a Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court said no, the government can limit how many hours a woman can work. And it shows us, like, people still thought women's number one job was to be a mom, right? Which is important, but like, that the government would say, no, you can't work because we want you to be able to be a mom, is kind of shows us what people think. And then the last one, divorce, that it was mostly against the law to get divorced. So women could get stuck in like a bad relationship and they couldn't get out. And that also, they want that change, but that they can't have that change. It's going to have to wait more years. But the big win is the right to vote.
Yeah, your favorite was a fast. Sorry, okay. But 1920. Year aka favorite was said year I was sari many career. Wait made up mean before made our work Macy Muckrakers eke po favorite kawan nit po ala favorite kan nit po like onto po kan what's like Scott for example us yeah sorry can't think sorry can you explain that again?
Which one? I can't remember the other part.
No, I'm trying to think of how to say it. About this one. Because like it's my favorite one, but I don't know how to explain it.
All right, can you explain about the 19th Amendment, the right to vote?
Met favorite was forced met like was vote even my president where Macy Muckrakers era year president ada leader. Neka favorite story fast, but eka mahret keki po favorite check robajak nam narim robajak turi moru kan sokat robajak cook sapa fast. Ina betul keki. We eka favorite rati pang rat o tipang sebal nam name Restoria ka robajak nam kan moru kan itu betul po tau robajak rausus rati pang kan rajak tipang ne full dress Poi ira betka eki. Kamu harus eki berkafe fir ri restoria gang. Ira betka na gang. 1920 kafe fira tori food. Puer kafe fira so raka earlier president even negiti ira vote kan. Ira ka sign ka tan nom naro White House ka academy for earlier president pada vote jika ada vote dia pada sundara pada view gini kamu pada tori pada musim mira betul feri mikis tidak ngiri tad mikis tidak ngiri kis nengin na cukup sos mirat sekarang masih kan nengir pucak nam nengir pucak turu mulu kalau ada kekut sevisit Rasa sari kasi gato kasi kakusumir siwatsan po. Inabet karaki eki po kamay. Ano was so clear po mi kis unfair. Inabet ibera rin. Ne mural amendment arika sudah fort may pun po. Yan fefiritori pusim inabet terwatsan tributori fort tributori akarosus. Yeah, it wasn't. Eu tenho a society. Okay.
And then the other ones, the ones at the bottom, those were the ones that they didn't get then. Women were talking about it. They started working on it at that time, but it didn't happen. They were unsuccessful in getting those changes.
Ekarafan, eu fácil. Qual kamu harus togari Lettia cafe furboia e ristogari report kusnira no sevirit. Igara nengire popo ne michak kurare mijak karachak fefi story about nira no namor kan. Ira beta kama rewatcher fefi rebira. Maybe cafe fir spot togari suseri akar puriwan ada ciri-ciran story suseri. Sooner harap iga feel society jiran doing like ever like fossil. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Ir cafe vir spot over kamar rasa ligite cafe vir hupaga per rasa wasir hupaga hechekara per raba nam nar im rabazak now ikar hajak tu wuru kari rajak netewaga.
Okay, so that's it. How do you say good study or study hard? How do we tell someone to study? Get ready for your test.
There's no study hard for us.
Okay. Well, hope that you study hard for your test. Thank you very much for coming.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
If I can say a message, always start off with my story. I was. I accent me got mixed city, Tawaka Islands. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.